as Jonathan Hernandez comes out and takes the lead. Oh, we got lots of stuff going on here. Oh my god, there is death everywhere. Everyone got tight and have just gone up and slammed the wall. Boomerang shoes in that one, Jordan Lee. A lot of people just getting very tight there on the corner exit. It'd be almost easier to tell you who was not involved. I can see Jonathan Hernandez still on track, Clayton Ward, Ryan Pizzakemi, and Cosman. I'm going to have to talk to Cosman about how to pronounce his last name there. Because I have no idea how to pronounce that. That's the driver of the 48 car, who I believe is just coming to... Oh! He's just punted himself into the end of... Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style with the burnout. Oh, Sturgill sliding in to celebrate as well. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, and welcome to the Autism Awareness 35 here from the historic cup version of the Sonoma Raceway. That's right, it's the first round of the playoffs. We have our 12 cars in the fight for the championship, and this is where the first battle goes down on the road course itself here at Sonoma. There's a couple of things that I forgot to get set up for this race. There we go. Now the iRating standings look a little bit different for this week, as all the iRatings and that. Oh Jesus! Apologies. All the iRating is based off of the driver's road iRating. Obviously, since this is a road course, the things will obviously look very different as far as the iRating is concerned. So the strength of field for this race will be down compared to what it usually would be. So at the moment we have 12 drivers in the race. Strength of field is of 1423, including myself. There's 13 people in the server. Don't know how the strength of field is calculated. It's everyone's iRating added up together and then divided by the amount of people who are in the race. There's the 39, James Watson. He's currently on top of the totem pole in practice. He's done a 1 minute 18.259 to be on top. Thomas Harmon on screen, currently P2. TJ Crampton now on screen, currently P3. iRacing's doing me a solid here by going through the top 3 like that. Matt Horton currently 4th, and Brian Fusakemi in 5th. And now onward to our drivers who are actually in the fight for the championship. Once I bring up the right bit of information. So we're going to have Thomas Harmon, TJ Crampton, Matt Horton, Travis Massia, Chris Champo, Kyle Kraus, John Lozelle, Mark Pentacuff, Frank Isaacson, Brian Pizzakemi, James Watson, and Jonas Marquez as our 12 drivers in the hunt for the championship. And it's actually really surprising that TJ Crampton is rated so highly, considering he was just barely in on the championship chase. So he jumped all the way down from just squeezing in 12th, second in the standings, equal second with Matt Horton, because he's had some stellar performances throughout the season. There is Brandon Bennett on screen. He's currently P9 in the 1 car. James Watson currently leading the way. He's got Mark Pentacuff in front of him. Mark, who is about 5 seconds off the pace. Oh, James wasn't ready for Mark to be breaking out early. I still have not yet actually recovered from my shenanigans last night, reviewing the brand new Port Royal Speedway, and the myriad of setups for the cars that come along with it. Those are the two of Chris Champeau. Gets around the one of Brandon Bennett. Chris Champeau is currently in the 10th position. And Brandon Bennett, he's currently in 9th. James Watson and Matt Horton battling it out. These two first and second in the standings so far. We see Chris Champeau and Mark Pentecoff going at it. These guys 12th and 13th in the standings. And you're actually 11th and 12th. You know, I'm just one ahead of them. But my time obviously does not count. There's Brandon Bennett and Thomas Harmon just in behind them. It's great to see these cars doing the short shoot version. I muchly prefer this version over the carousel version personally. Brandon Bennett pulls out of that paddle. Thomas Harmon all over the tail of Mark Pentecoff. There's James Watson trying to effect a move on Jonas Marquez, gets it done with ease. Oh, Chris Champeau went around. Brandon Bennett says, I'm going to take the dirt track. Living a life with the dirt track cowboy. And around goes Matt Horton. There's John Lazelle in the 23. He's currently in 8th. We've got Brian Burchett out on track as well behind him. Brian hasn't set a lap just yet. No doubt he will do soon. Let's see, who's got the biggest road eye rating? That's actually Matt Horton. He's a 2.6k road racing driver with a A-Class 2.35 license. Very close second is James Watson with a 2.5 I rating. Well, 2.5k I rating with a A-Class 4.48 license. We won't talk about TJ Crampton's I rating though, because that's a yikes. He's the only one under 1k, and he's a long way below 1k. He's a 687 I rating driver, but he's damn quick. I think he just gets very unlucky in road course racing. Mark has a lot of damage on the back of his truck, because he's not going fast enough for a lot of these guys. But that's fine, because when it comes to races like this, you're not really racing the other cars. You're more racing the track. Because it's all about surviving the track and getting to the end of the race. It's not about racing the other competitors. As Kyle Kraus makes his way out onto the track. Travis Massey is just joining in as well. And there goes John Lozelle going for a trip up to see the fans. So Rothers hasn't released that yet. Okay. Probably working on me. Man, Rothers, we've definitely got a little bit of a theme going on now. Rothers says the guy who does all the paints on my cars and all my overlays and stuff. He actually made this overlay that goes around the positional ticker, and it looks absolutely schmick. There still hasn't really been a change in the top 5 as far as times go. It's still James Watson for TJ Crampton, Matt Horton. Actually, TJ has gotten up above Matt Horton. So James Watson, TJ Crampton, Matt Horton, Thomas Harmon, and Kyle Kraus is your top 5. Brandon Bennett's looking for the move on the 5 of Mark Pentecoff, and he gets there. Mark Pentecoff, who's actually been out there for a couple of solid laps. I think he's trying to run the race distance in practice. As Chris Champeau jumps up into 8. John Lozelle and Frank Isaacson battling over 7th and 8th. Brian Burchett has moved his way up into 10th. We still have 16 minutes left in practice. Oh, Mark Pentecoff has had an off. Just trying to see where that was. I think that was the back section of the track. Over in turn 6. 12 corners here in the Sonoma Raceway. You see behind Thomas Harmon was John Lozelle wagging his tail along the front stretch. And I say front stretch because it's a stretch to call it a stretch at all. Oh, that's the 14, Brian Burchett. He's lost it in turn 2. Made it all the way to the tyre barrier. Yeah, what Mark Pentecoff is doing is he's just going out and doing solid laps. When they're not solidly good, they're just solid because it's all track time. And that's exactly what he needs to get faster. as we're still waiting on the 13 of Travis Masia to complete a lap. Mark Pentecoff closes in on Mark Pentecoff. Chris Champo just looming in the background there as well. Georgia versus Kansas. And Georgia comes out on top. Chris Champo snuck out underneath there as well. Oh, and he gives a tap to Brandon Bennett because he locked up those front wheels, which reinvigorates the battle between Kansas and Georgia. And it looks like Georgia is going to come out on top. Travis Masia only doing the 13th quickest time, a 1:21.988. Fastest time overall is a 1:18.259. There's Brian Perchett in the 10. Actually, he's not in the 10, he's in the 14, isn't he? Yeah. He's in 10th position. Yeah, I am big dumb. Oh! Big move, and that was sketchy right from the onset. Big damage for Kyle Kraus, and big damage for Travis Masia. That's one thing that's going to help and hinder these guys is that because this is a road course, there's no caution. But because there is so much track, you've got a lot more time to fix your car if you've got damage. DJ Crampton and Kyle Kraus, the 61 and the 60 respectively. Third and fifth respectively, as Thomas Harmon has moved his way back up into second. There's only 0.04 of a second that separate Watson from Harmon. But make it set. Actually, I'm wrong. It's 0.32 of a second. The 0.032 of a second separates James Watson and Thomas Harmon at the top of the totem pole. And both of them will tell you it's all just about trying to be smooth on a road course. There's James Watson still on top at the moment, though. Around on the front stretch goes Brian Burchett into both walls, and he pulls the ripcord. We now have less than 10 minutes left in the session, 9.5 minutes to be exact. And yeah, there's no qualifying simulation runs for these guys around here. This is all purely just about trying to get used to the track, full stop. Get used to the way these trucks handle the track. Maybe find some areas to push a little bit, but not too much. When it comes to road course racing in these big, heavy, lumbering vehicles, you just got to get used to the way that it feels on the track. As Christian Poe pushed a little bit too hard coming out of, what is that, turn 10. But all the way through to the inside of the hairpin at 11. There's Kyle Kraus, currently 5th. As a wild Travis Start has just joined into the server. Now with the 15 drivers, 16 people in the server altogether, strength of field is a 1335. As Mark Pentecoff gets the hairpin at 11 a little bit wrong. Chris Champeau and Frank Isaacson make their way through turns 3 and 4. And into 5. This is treacherous turn 5. It's so easy to get wide there and run into that fence. And in real life, the drivers like to get really close to that fence, pushing every little margin on this track. Chris Chapeau gets it all kinds of wrong out of turn 10 once more. I find third gear is the most comfortable for turn 10. You'll probably do it in fourth, but I just prefer third. Probably the fast guys doing it in fourth. As TJ Crampton has gone to the top of the timetable. He's done a 17.695. Which bested Thomas Harmon's new best of a 17.921. 0.236 of a second faster was TJ Crampton. James Watson now relegated down to third, Matt Horton fourth, Kyle Kraus in fifth. We got Brian Pizzicabi P6, John Lascelles 7, Frank Isaacson 8, got Chris Champeau in 9th, Brian Burchett is 10th. Brandon Bennett 11th, Jonas Marquez 12th, Travis Massier 13th, Mark Pentecoff 14th. And Travis Start not completed a lap yet. And there is Travis Start. He's got the 6 on the side of the truck, but he's actually the number 11, believe it or not. Unfortunately, it looks like Brian Harris is not going to be joining in. He's got a little bit of a stomach bug, so I hope you get better soon, Brian. He's not cleared by the Output Racing medical team. Probably worried that he's going to shit himself to death on a track like this. As we have just 5 minutes left in practice now. All the guys who are super serious, we're doing their super serious things, and everyone who's still trying to just get used to the track, I'm going to continue to try and get used to the track. I would be one who would spend literally the whole hour out on track just getting used to the track. There is no way that I'm fast around here. There's 78 Brian Pisacami. Travis Dart's just behind him. Still has not completed the lap yet. Still got the 6 on the side of his truck. Someone's going to have to give him a slap outside of the face. And out of our top 5, there's only 2 on track. That's Thomas Harmon and Matt Horton, who's just re-entered the racing surface. Matt Horton's going to get 1 extra lap in here. We're also going to have a little bit of an elongated break period here, as qualifying could take a while. Because normally we give them 10 minutes to qualify around here, because it is a road course. And it takes 6 minutes to do 2 laps. Actually, it takes 3 minutes to do 2 laps, but you know what I mean. They can't do their out lap and then 2 flying laps in 5 minutes. Unless they're literally right on it from the onset. As most people now will be starting their final lap. Oh, and around goes Travis Massia off the nose of Brian Pisacami. Travis Dart has got a time in, and it's 8.5 seconds off the pace. But that's okay, we won't hold it against him. He's probably one who would have benefited from being here right from the get-go to get as many laps as he could in. But now we are in the final minutes of qualifying, which means that it is almost time for us to go to a commercial break. Brian Burchett with a huge crash as he's taken actually the 4th position. Good shit. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have the grid set here for the Autism Awareness 35 from the Sonoma Raceway. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Autism Awareness 35 right here from the Sonoma Raceway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Qualifying has been completed. On the pole, going to be the 38 car of Thomas Harmon with an 18.050. P2 is going to go the way of the 60 of TJ Crampton, an 18.127. So less than a tenth of a second between our two front runners. And then everyone down to Frank Isaacson in P8, less than a second separating them. Got 10 people who qualified. James Watson in the 39 is in third. Kyle Kraus in the 60 car is going to be coming out of fourth. Got Matt Horton in the 33 is going to be out of fifth. John Lazelle in the 23 out of P6. The 14 of Brian Burchett will be out of seventh, with the 24 of Frank Isaacson out of eighth. The 2 of Chris Champeau will be out of ninth, and Travis Massier in the 13 will be out of P10. Those are your drivers who have laid down lap times in qualifying. Brandon Bennett in the 1 will be out of 11th, with the 78 of Brian Pizzacchemi out of 12th. The 64 of Jonas Marquez out of 13th, with the 5 of Mark Pentacup out of 14th. And the 11/6 of Travis Dart will be out of the 15th starting position. So Brian Burchett is electing to start from the pits. Smart decision if you ask me, as we go on our one and only pace lap in this event. There will be no cautions. 35 laps ahead of us. Look at them all. Sight to behold. But Chris Champeau, Brandon Bennett, Jonas Marquez and Travis Dart will all effectively move up a row. We've got 14 on the grid to start. We've got 1 in the pits. Time to get it on. Remember, this first start will be on green, no exceptions. And for the most part, this race will be spent on focusing on crashes. The pace car goes into the pits. The field will turn around on turn 11, and we'll get the green flag just after we'll come out of turn 12. Here we go. Off and racing for the Autism Awareness 35 right here from the Sonoma Raceway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And the 61 of TJ Crampton holding in strong on the outside. There was contact between our two leaders. There's contact all throughout the field. A little bit of nose to tail, a little bit of side to side. TJ Crampton has taken the lead at the moment. And the 38 of Thomas Harmon looking very unsettled at the moment. There he is on screen. Oh, someone's gone around. It's the 33 of Matt Horton. And there is big damage. Let's back this up and see what happened to Matt Horton. It looks like he just outbraked himself a little bit coming into turn 5. Went for the very late turn in, which just sent that rear end around. 2 of Chris Champeau, absolutely nowhere to go. Frank Isaacson, nowhere to go. Into the back of the 2. Almost flipping over was the 33 car. Everyone else managed to get around it though. and we continue on. There's Travis Massier in the 13, he's in P7. TJ Crampton already has a 1.1 second lead over Thomas Harmon. It's Jonas Marquez in the 64 car. 14 of Brian Burchett, he's in P11. Go check in on their pole sitter, the 38 Thomas Harmon. He has about a second over James Watson at the moment. Everyone's starting to string out already. Now everyone is starting to race the track rather than each other. Oh, and saying that around goes Mark Pentacuff. And he will drop down to 14th. Frank Isaacson actually in the pits. I believe he's got some pretty severe front end damage from that incident that he had. He's going to come back out just ahead of our leaders. 60 Kyle Krause. He's actually in a battle with James Watson here. This is for the third position. Don Lozelle looking to try and buy into this battle as well. I'll wait and see how this goes for these guys. This is the closest thing we have to a battle on the track. There's a 78 Ryan Pizzicami looming in the background. I say looming because he was one of the faster drivers in practice. He'll be looking to improve. TJ Crampton, the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.508. As I said, a big lead over Thomas Harmon to the tune of 1.4 seconds. Another 1.4 seconds back behind Thomas Harmon is James Watson. As we're looking at Travis Massier, Brennan Bennett ahead and Chris Champeau behind. Chris with that front end damage from running into the 33 of Matt Horton. So in the background there, Brian Burchett pushing really hard in turn 5, just about clouding that wall. We'll see quite a bit of that throughout this race, I imagine, especially once the tyres start going off. And I'm not actually sure how many people practice the pit entry. So this could get interesting on old tyres. Brian Burchett had a big wiggle coming out of turn 11. But Brian Burchett actually doing really well for himself. He started from the pits. He's already up to P10. Looks like TJ Crampton is already about to Experienced Frank Isaacson, he's in the braking zone at turn 11. Frank will try and make this as easy as possible for TJ to get around him. There you go, easy as you like. And these four just seem to be absolutely glued together. It's Chris Champeau, Brennan Bennett, Travis Massey and Brian Burchett. James Watson, who is about to get around Frank, or at least attempt to. Frank makes it really easy. Kyle Kraus will do the same maneuver. It's really unfortunate for Frank because he was within a second of the quick time in qualifying, and to see him down that far already is it's really sad for me. As the 5 of Mark Pentecost looks like he's gotten it all kinds of wrong, the back section of the track. Let's see what happened to him here. Coming through the S's, this is turn 7. Oh, he made it to the fence, damn. And that was a very sudden stop. And Brian Burchett is in the pits for an unknown problem. Something that I didn't see. I think we've got another one in the pits. We do. 11 of Travis Dart. What happened to Travis? So he's just started a new lap. Oh, he just got it wrong at turn 2 and he is calling it quits. Got Jonas Marquez and Matt Horton battling it out here. These guys battling over 11. They make that 10th with Travis Dart being in the pits. Looks like Jonas Marquez got a little bit loose, and that just opened up the gap between himself and Matt Horton. Surprising to see Matt Horton so far down after his spin earlier, considering he is the top I-rating driver in this race. James Watson, he's in third. Looking pretty good. Fast lap still a 1:18.255 by TJ Crampton. He's enjoying a 2-second lead over Thomas Harmon right now. I think Mark Pentacup has actually got it all wrong in turn 11. I saw his blip just sitting there. What happened? Oh, he just got sideways and into the tyre barrier he went. Oh, that's unfortunate. He has got it back going again though, which is good. Kyle Kraft's battling it out with James Watson right now though. These guys are battling over the third position. So there is a little bit of guts and glory involved in this battle. Let's see how they go through turn 11. Just up ahead of them is Thomas Harmon and TJ Cronin. I think TJ's made a mistake somewhere. Almost pulled in 0.7 of a second as these guys start getting closer. But we are going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue watching this battle and see how it unfolds. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back. Kyle Kraus managed to get around James Watson in turn 11 in what was a fairly straightforward move. Just up the inside of their hairpin, if you don't mind. James Watson almost held on to the outside line advantage, keeping his nose up there, but just couldn't quite do it. And this battle will continue to rage on for the next lap or two. We're going to keep an eye on it a little bit. As at the same time, Matt Horton has gotten around Travis Massey. I just saw that in the telemetry. Kyle Kraus looks like he's starting to put some distance on James Watson. Oh, and James pushing way too hard. Getting it into the dirt, and that's going to ruin any chances he had there. Now we're looking at Chris Champeau. He's got Mark Petscup ahead, who's a lap down. Got Brandon Bennett behind, who's only half a second behind, actually. The distraction of the lap car could be exactly what Brandon Bennett needs to pounce here on the 2 car. And really deep into turn 11 goes Chris Champeau. That is what Brandon Bennett needed. But Brandon got loose on exit. gives the advantage back to Chris Champeau. And the gap is a little bit bigger than what it was. As now Chris gets around Mark Pentecoff with ease. Brandon Bennett looking for a similar easy move. And into the gravel there a little bit was the pie by Mark Pentecoff. This is the closest battle we have on track. These guys within half a second of each other. '61 of TJ Cranton also has Thomas Harmon to contend with. I think TJ spent all of his time in the early part of this race absolutely burning up those tires, but we are getting close to the pit stop window. Our half race distance around here is 17 and a half laps. So if you pit around lap 17, 18, then you should be pretty good. It all depends on when these two are going to make their stops. You want to be the first car to make the last stop, but you also need to hold on to your tires while you do so. And you can see TJ absolutely sliding around everywhere. Thomas Harmon's just keeping a much tidier line. Although Thomas Harmon did lock up that right front coming into turn 11. And this has just made this battle for the lead a little bit more spicy. As these guys enjoy a huge lead over to third place Kyle Kraus. We're going to stick with our leaders here, keep an eye on how this battle is going to unfold. In fact, let's ride on the back of TJ's car. And so A, we're going to hear how much the tyres are sliding, and B, so we can watch the gap between himself and Thomas. Thomas getting right into the apex there in turn 11. Something TJ is just not being able to do. TJ definitely has advantages around certain parts of the track. See, that's where Thomas starts to build it back, is this back section. I think TJ's just a little bit too loose to get any decent speed through these S's. Wow. Big time money shift there from TJ Cranton. Here goes the move. Back to the outside of the car we go. Contact. And they're drag racing out of turn 11 into the final corner. TJ still holding on to the advantage for now. But will he be able to keep it? He will momentarily. We are now on lap 17. So we could see someone come into the pits this time. I hope these guys stick it out for one more lap. Oh, defensive now is TJ Crampton. So this race just got a whole lot more spicy. Like down from when TJ money shifted into this section. No idea what he was doing in second gear though. As to the outside now goes Thomas Harmon. He wants an inside run for the main straight. Contact. And TJ holds on to the advantage. Now we should be starting to see some drivers come into the pits this time. As this is the halfway point now. I think once we reach turn 6, we're actually officially halfway through this race. And here we are. That's officially halfway right there. 17 and a half laps. Now the question is, will these guys dive in and get fresh tyres now? Or will they wait? And they're waiting. They're not coming in right now. Apparently this battle's just too good. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they don't need to pit, which means they got to make these tires last even longer. But this battle between these two is definitely not going to be helping out their tires at all. In fact, they've been losing time to Kyle Kraus. Kyle Kraus has absolutely been gaining time on these two. See the attitude of TJ's truck getting sideways as often as it likes. But TJ is very stoic in defense. Won't be taking anything lying down. He's starting to open up this gap once more. He hasn't opened it up by much, but he's opened it up just enough. It would be just enough to keep Thomas Harmon at bay. But if I was Thomas Harmon, I would pit this lap. Because at how loose TJ is, fresh tyres would be an absolute commodity. unless they can make it on fuel. Oh, touch. If they can make it on fuel, then definitely no stopping. Not for either of them. They're just going to have to deal with what they got. Into the pits is James Watson, though. James Watson is the first to blink on a pit stop. Honestly, he looks like he's the only one who wants to go for a pit stop. He's looking for that fresher tyre advantage. He just comes out of the pits in front of Chris Champeau in 8th. And this battle is far from over. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to watch the conclusion of this epic battle, so make sure you guys stay tuned for action from the Autism Awareness 35 coming up shortly. And we are back here for the Autism Awareness 35 from the Sonoma Raceway. And I just want to quickly check in with the 39 of James Watson. He pitted. And he just got around John Lozelle. He's on the hunt for Brandon Bennett. He wants to get 5th place back. And he wants to chase down Brian Pizzakemi with fresher tyres. But going back to our battle for the lead. 61 of TJ Crampton still somehow holding off Thomas Harmon. Tyres on the 61 and the 38 car is going to be absolutely screaming in pain. If you're around a road course like this, you don't pit because of fuel, you pit because of tyres. Because these tyres become second-hand very quickly, especially if you're pushing hard. Let's see how it goes. This is the closest Thomas Harmon has been for the last couple of laps. Thomas hoping for a better run out of 10. He's not going to quite have a good run there. They got about an even run. Thomas Harmon all over the tail of TJ Crampton, trying to force him into making a mistake. He's turning this into a pressure to pass kind of race right now. TJ's definitely faster around here. But his tyre management seems to be lacking slightly. Those rear tyres are on fire. I'd say let's have a look from one of their onboards, but I really don't want to look away from this battle. I want to see it all play out just like this. Oh, and there's contact in turn 11. Thomas trying to unsettle TJ in the middle of the hairpin. The most grip limited corner on the track. And TJ has the big time struggles going on. Is this the advantage that Thomas needs right now? Going into turn 5, it is a legitimate passing opportunity. He's there. Oh, couldn't quite get it done. There is 10.5 laps left to go. These trucks are taking a lot of abuse right now. And Brandon Bennett has gone into the pits now. He wants fresh tyres for the final 10 laps. The leaders catch up to Travis Massia, who's going very slowly actually. We are on 10 to go. It's going to be 9.5 when we get to turn 6. In fact, we could safely call it 9.5 laps to go now. Christian Poe is just behind our 2 leaders. He's on fresh tyres. He came in just a couple of laps ago, so he's on fresh tyres. He gets around Travis Massia. And he could be a thorn in the side of these 2 leaders when he catches up to them. There's 61, TJ Crampton, none of them all hang out right now. Staying in second gear to minimize wheel spin coming out of the hairpin. They're currently doing lap times 2 seconds slower than their fastest laps of the race. You see, we're starting to get treated to a beautiful sunset here in Sonoma, California. This is actually wine country, California. Beautiful vineyards out this way. Oh, and TJ's made a mistake going through turn 2. Still holds on to the advantage. This might open up the door for Thomas into turn 5. He gets a much better run through turn 4. He's looking. Is he there? He is not quite there. So close. Thomas definitely looking for that turn 5 pass. You see TJ starting to get a lot more defensive now. Also at the same time, Thomas Harmon's starting to feel the effects of the looseness. And Chris Champeau was right on their ass. Now remember, Chris Champeau on fresher tyres, he's just going to be a thorn in the side of these guys when it comes time for him to try and get around them. They're not going to give him an inch. If he's going to want to overtake these guys and get back on the lead lap, he's absolutely going to have to work for it. And if I were him, I would think it'd be smarter just to stay in behind them and let them battle. Got 7 laps to go. I'm not sure how much of a question there is over fuel, but tyre life is definitely a big concern. You can see how loose TJ is coming out of turn 4 that time. Thomas Harmon almost pushing him through turn 5. The track starts to get darker and darker every single lap. We almost might have to call this one due to lighting restrictions. Both cars struggling to get through turn 11 this time. Chris Champeau is all over the bumper of Thomas Harmon. He wants to get involved, but he doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to rob us of this battle. It's like Thomas Harmon's starting to feel the effects of the old tyres. And these guys have been battling it out now for a solid, what is it, 7 or 8 laps now. I would dare say Thomas Harmon's tyres are definitely in better shape than TJ Crampton's. We've got 5 to go. The Autism Awareness 35 here from Sonoma Raceway is going to come down to the wire, as in the background Chris Champeau got it wrong coming out of turn 2, went for a trip through the grass. EJ not having to go so defensive, still struggling with that oversteer though. Oh, look how hard Thomas Harmon's pushing now. He's trying to go for broke. TJ goes defensive into turn 11. I don't really think he needed to go defensive there, but he chose to. 4 to go. It's just under 3 minutes of racing left. This is a home race for a lot of drivers, honestly. This is an auto club. And what I'm hearing from my pit reporter is they have just enough fuel to end this race. So fuel is not an issue. I probably still would have pitted just for the fresh tires, but that's just me. Super defensive now is TJ Crampton. He's saying to Thomas, if you're going to get around me, you're going to have to work for it and go the long way. Look at them sliding as they come out of the final corner. 3 to go. Oh, Thomas pushing TJ through the S's, trying to look for a way around. TJ is doing an excellent job with the defending here. Look at the gap he's gained now. When we get to the start finish line, we'll have just 2 laps left to run. 2 minutes and 40 seconds of this race to go. Here we go, 2 to go, 2 minutes 40 left. I say that because these guys are still in the 1 minute 20 bracket as far as lap times go. So you can see there on the positional ticker, TJ's last lap was a 1:21.35. And he's starting to gap Thomas Harmon. I think Thomas's tyres have finally given up. We go through turn 10 for the penultimate time. Into the hairpin. Thomas already starting to fight back. It's now going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for TJ Crampton. One minute 20 to go in this race. Will Thomas use the chrome horn? That's another question that we're going to ask here. Chrome horn is a viable passing opportunity maker. I think if he's going to do it, he's going to do it in turn 11. So here we go into turn 11 now. This is where I'm expecting it. Thomas with a much better run through turn 10. Big inside dive. Oh, and I think Thomas hit the tyre bundle. Coming out of the final corner, the winner here of Sonoma, round number 1 of the playoffs, is going to be the 61 of TJ Crampton. Thomas Harmon, P2. Kyle Kraus just crossing the line now for P3. What an excellent battle between these two. A fair bit of respect shown and a fair bit of respect thrown away at the same time. As I'm hearing there may have been a cheeky little brake check there on the penultimate lap. But that we don't know for sure. Just waiting for everyone to finish the race. But TJ Crampton, what a race. Led from start to finish, took the lead right from the onset, led every single lap of this race. And this should well and surely put him in the lead of the chase so far. He wins the race, he gets the most laps led, and he's the only one who earned leader lap points. As now everyone has finished the race as the 33 of Matt Horton gets across the line. Just waiting to see if TJ can make it around to do a burnout on the front stretch. I think he's clutching it so he can. Well, he stuck it in neutral so he can try and roll around to do the burnout. He's going to take the shortcut. And here we go. TJ with an expression session. Alright guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to have driver interviews, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, now it's time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. That's right, they don't just sponsor the race, they also sponsor the Hard Charger Award. And today's Hard Charger, we're doing things a little bit differently because it's a road course. He did attempt to qualify, just fucked it up both times. But today's Hard Charger, going from 12th all the way to 4th, going to be the one, the only, the 78 of Mr. Brian Pizzicami. Brian, incredible effort from yourself going from 12th all the way up to 4th in what is a very difficult to pass track.
Yeah, extremely difficult.
How was the race out there? Obviously there was just enough fuel to make it to the end without stopping. What was it like from your perspective?
From my perspective, it was a lot of, am I going to slide off the track here? How about there? How about there? So it's a lot of, well, maybe just kind of wait for the truck to settle and then get the gas because it was just like ice skating. And then once we started noticing fuel was going to be close, it's like, well, I guess we'll see how this plays out because I didn't want to pit because cold tires equals a lot of problems. At least in practice, I was having issues trying to keep it underneath me when I was trying to go as fast as possible. So it was a lot of trying to save to make sure I was good, and then trying to keep up with James and Kyle at the end.
Now, how was the battle between you guys? Just because I noticed that uh, it, as hard as it is to pass, it's also fairly easy to just maintain control of a vehicle if you look after those tires.
Oh, it was a lot of feathering the throttle, making sure you're not trying to use too much gas out of the corners because it didn't take much for the back wheels to just start spinning and roasting them. And when I was catching James, it was a matter of, well, how am I going to pass him? Because it was already sketchy enough by myself, and now trying to pass him when I was very concerned. But when he pit, I was a little shocked by that because at that time I looked at my fuel and I was good to the end.
May have just been a case of he prized those fresher tires over the fuel window and the opportunity to try and stay out without stopping. Um, and obviously the strategy for him wasn't too bad. He still come home in fifth.
Yeah, it seems like given a longer race, I think that would have been the call. Take tires because towards the end we were all skating around. Well, I say we, but I don't know what TJ and Thomas were doing. They were in a different zip code the whole race.
Oh, there was definitely a lot of skating going on for them too. But let's look at this championship wise. This is actually a really good result for you for the championship. Being the first round of the playoffs, and it really sets you up well for the last couple of races that we have coming up here.
Yeah, I didn't look at the schedule, but I think I remember the next two tracks being pretty pretty difficult to try and maintain, at least for me, because I am pretty bad at short tracks. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up right here because I'm curious. I think it's Richmond next week.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Richmond
Yeah,
next week.
that's not one of my better tracks, not at all. So it's gonna be a lot of trying to maintain position and qualify up front just to keep myself as close to the leaders as possible.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to, Brian?
Shout out to you for the broadcast as always. You do a phenomenal job, and I know everyone appreciates it. Shout out to all the drivers for what was a really, I mean, in all regards, kind of a clean race. And we always expect road courses to be a little more disastrous, excluding that first lap crash, of course. And then shout out to everyone out there watching. Hopefully we put on a good show.
Well, I think we absolutely did. But thank you very much for coming out, Brian. Congratulations on getting the Hard Charger Award. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Richmond.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, guys. So that was our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner, Mr. Brian Pizzicami. Coming up next, we are going to have our third place getter here tonight. And he was just sitting there ever so quietly in third. Of course, it's going to be the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Kyle, a fairly quiet race here for you tonight. And, it's probably exactly what you needed for a track like Sonoma.
I was just trying my hardest to keep it clean. Corey is exactly what I needed. I was hoping that maybe one of the two of them in front of me might mess up and let me slip through, but otherwise, I just wanted to stay on the track and no incidents and stay clean.
Well, you definitely did a really good job of that, and you maintained a really decent position there at the end. But did you notice towards the end of the race, you were starting to catch up to TJ and Thomas that little bit?
I was. It seemed like they had burned up their stuff. I had a couple tenths here and there. I was catching them. Thought maybe while they were battling a little bit, I might catch up, but I didn't have enough time left in the race to really get them. I was more worried about Brian catching me.
Now, how was that like with Brian charging up behind you? He started in 12th and finished just behind you in fourth.
Yeah, he's always really good on the long runs. And I thought that he would catch me. Got within like 4 seconds, I think, but then I managed to pull back away from him, so opening up a comfortable distance.
Right now, let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be going to the Richmond Raceway for the second round here of the playoffs. What's the feeling like for you heading into Richmond?
I'm looking forward to the short track. I'm not always the best at saving tires at Richmond, so I don't know how that one's going to go. I'm just going to have the same strategy, try and keep it clean, and hopefully come out with a top finish.
And now, point standings wise, this actually puts you in a fairly decent position here, being equal fourth with Travis and Chris coming into this race. This should pretty much keep you in the fourth, maybe even the third position as we start getting on into the playoffs here.
Yeah, I'm in third, up three on Brian. It's gonna be tough to get an edge on Thomas and TJ, but I'm just gonna try and hang in there and do what I can.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to, Kyle?
Yes, definitely. You, Corey, for the broadcasts. Enjoy watching the replays. Thanks to all the drivers that show up every week, and also thanks to the admins for putting the league on.
All right. Thank you very much for coming out, Kyle. Again, as last week, thank you for everything you do behind the scenes. We couldn't put on as good of a show as we do without you. And we look forward to seeing what you do next week when we go to Richmond.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, guys. That was our third place getter, Kyle Kraus. And just so you guys, if you guys don't know, he does a lot of the back end stuff. Like he did the website, he does a lot of the bots that are inside the Discord. He puts in a lot of work to this league, and we're better off for it. Coming up next, we are going to have our second place getter here tonight in what was an absolutely fantastic battle. But today's second place is going to be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas, an absolutely titanic battle between yourself and TJ Crampton at the end of that race there. What was it like from your perspective from when you started catching him at the, I'm going to say the 1/3 point of this race?
Well, I knew that he'd be quicker than me off the get go. I was just hoping he'd burn up his stuff and come back to me, which he did. Um, but I could never get a run at the opportune time, and when I did, he would stab the brakes a little bit, or it'd just be just in my way, or in it completely ruin my momentum. Um, but it was a fun fight overall. Uh, if I was any closer, I definitely would have given him a little bumper love going into the final quarter there, but. Um, had to make up too much ground over those last couple laps to make that a possibility. But yeah, it was a good race. It was fun. Um, just wish we would have had about five more.
All right, now I think the big question on everyone's mind is how close were you on fuel towards the end of that race? Because we know
Uh,
it was marginal at best.
4/10 of a gallon.
Damn.
It was close.
So just about on the smell of an oily rag. That is absolutely insane. But how was the car feeling towards the end of the race there? Because we noticed for about the last 5 laps, both you and TJ were just absolutely sliding just about everywhere.
That was that about sums it up. It was real slick. At that point, we both cooked our stuff, and it was just a matter of who could get a better run off the corner. Um, I was a little bit better on the hairpins than he was, or at least on entry. He'd get me a little bit on exit most of the time, but yeah, it was definitely real slick around most of the corners, and under braking, it definitely wanted to go around a few times.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be going to the Richmond Raceway. What's the feeling like from you heading to our road course here at Sonoma, going into the shortest track in the playoffs?
Oh, I'm fine with it. We're going back to ovals, so I'm happy with that. Definitely shocked that I finished second here, but yeah, looking forward to Richmond. Should be a good race, and hopefully I can get a win there.
Well, this second place is definitely going to set you up well for the chase to the championship. It's put you in second place overall at the moment. And, TJ does have a little bit of an advantage over you at the moment, getting not just leader lap points, but also leading the most lap points with the win. So what are you going to do to try and overcome that at Richmond?
Win. That's all I'm going to try to do.
The easiest answer in the book. All right, before we let you go here tonight, Thomas, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you up in the booth, everybody that shows up each week, fans and drivers alike, um, all the league admins and Jaron for putting on the league, and Avril on the truck.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Richmond.
Sounds good. I'll be there. Have a good one, Corey.
All right, guys, so that was today's second place getter, the one, the only, the Mr. Thomas Harmon. But coming up next, we have our emphatic winner, and what an incredible win it was for the 61 of Mr. TJ Crampton. TJ, absolutely titanic battle between yourself and Thomas there in the final. I'm going to say it was about 20 laps of that race. How was that from your perspective?
Really stressful. I had to like wipe my hands off multiple times. Just I was sweating so much. Just the pressure was on. I don't know how I stayed on the track, but because it was so loose, and especially under braking, I absolutely burned my rear tires up. I think they're about as fried as a an overcooked piece of toast right now.
All right, now let's talk about your tires because that was the whole reason why Thomas was able to catch you up in the race was that you burnt up your tires a little bit and just wasn't getting the exit of the corners that you would have liked.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's just the exit of the corners is so tough here with the hairpins and the heat of the day as well, and well, not heat of the day, heat of the evening, as it was going into night. And when it went swinging the other way, when he was catching me, I was panicking and jabbing the throttle more, which led into more rear fade. And as it got closer and closer, I tried to be more aggressive with the truck, and that wasn't the right decision. Obviously, as he caught me, but it was like you said, it was a fantastic battle. I had probably one of the best battles I ever had on a road course, and let alone in a truck, a NASCAR truck.
Let's stick with the tires here real quick. What were your tires when you came back into the pits after the burnout?
Let me get out of my truck here and tell you. My rears were left rear was 55%, right rear was 67%.
So there you go. So the tires actually weren't in too bad shape for what was a fairly grueling race there.
No, surprisingly.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. Going to be going to the Richmond Raceway. What's the feeling like from you heading from a road course into the shortest track of the playoff schedule?
Richmond, decent track. I saved my tires pretty well there, but usually I struggle on pace when I do that. So we'll see. Just hope for a top five finish and continue on the roll that we have right now.
All right, well, this win has definitely put you in great standing for the championship. You currently sit on top, and you got the bonus points for not just leading the lap, but leading the most laps by going green to checkered in the lead of this race. So how are you going to attack the next couple of races to set yourself up for the final race?
Well, I just can't do what I did in early season. The beginning of this year, I was hitting about everything except the pace car. Um, so I don't want to do that, and I just want to be consistent. And whether if that's taking a top 5 or even a top 10 finish, and just not being and getting in trouble is gonna be what I have to do to at least stay up front in the top 5 in the standings.
All right, TJ, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank you for broadcasting. I want to thank Kyle for doing all the beautiful work that he does for the website and the Discord server. I want to thank Matthew at JEM eRacing for the opportunity. I want to thank all my friends watching, and I want to thank everybody at Output as well. They put on a great league here.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, TJ. Congratulations on coming home with a win. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Richmond.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that was tonight's winner, and a very excitable winner as well, TJ Crampton. What was an absolutely titanic battle there at the end. But that is going to end it for us here at Sonoma. And I am absolutely exhausted. It has been a long, long day. So next week we go to Richmond. Should be an interesting kind of race. It's going to be a little bit different from the drivers adjusting from Sonoma to Richmond, but I know that these drivers can do it and do it well. So until next week, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you guys at Richmond.